ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. I am the Scarlet Ginger, and today I will be covering patch 1.29 or season 3 for Guilty Gear Strive. I will be covering all the stuff that's changing. Basically, season 3 is kind of like it's basically a brand new. It's not basically a brand new game, but it's a very revamp of the game, as I would say. So to start out, they're obviously adding the new character Johnny, and it'll be able to purchase. They'll be available after purchasing season 3 of Guilty Gear Strive. But you could also purchase him just by himself. You don't need to buy season 3 to play him. They're adding his theme, Just Lean, and his little avatar items will be all added. This is all just stuff that's coming with the new character. They changed the main menu, so now the main menu looks like this. Network, Loco, which I kind of like this. It was kind of a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I feel like the old way that they had stuff was so spread out and unneeded that I'm kind of glad they have it like this. This is obviously for the PC version because a console version wouldn't have this. But yeah, I kind of like this. And they changed it to the online features, changed some visual features of the lobby selection screen, added a visual indicator of current online player count for each floor when selecting floors in the red tower. They added Africa as the selectable network region, which that's not really applicable unless you live in Africa, I guess. Changed the structure of the lobby screen. Items can now be selected from the shortcut menu when the button is being held down by aligning the cursor and then releasing the button. Added the ability to flow, block, and report other players. So basically just basic lobby stuff. Online lobbies, avatars in online lobbies will now be moved from the dual station they were using to bartender's area when suspending matchmaking in standby and training mode. So I guess that was a big problem before. Fix an issue where vacant dual stations cannot be accessed due to the information of the most recent player remaining on the server. So that's all the changes they're making to online lobbies. Character select screen, character select, change the display format, which there's no picture here, but I'm curious to what that sounds like, or what that looks like. I wonder if they changed the way the characters are on the select screen. Revised selection criteria to achieve a better overall equilibrium for battle type and easy to use customization. Battle type and easy to use description for some characters have been changed as a result. These revisions are not intended to represent any changes with the most recent battle patch. Not completely sure what that means. The operation of changing setting for BGM stage and battle system has been revised from a method where changes are made collectively and then confirmed to a method where changes are selected and then confirmed individually. So this is just basically changing your stage. So basically you can change it all at once or change it individually. And this right here is what I'm glad. The selected BGM or stage using the auto function is now displayed after the character. Cause I always got that one map, the one with all the flying ships on it. Cause I would always have it on auto. So now I'm pretty sure I can change it. If this is it. This is it. I can see which one I'm actually on. In mission mode, in accordance with the new character and battle changes, new missions have been added, and some existing missions have been updated or deleted. Updated missions have had their cleared status reset. So if you're into mission mode, it's good. R code. When checking your R code, the options menu now opens the edit profile screen. Please note that you can no longer edit your profile from this. Okay, so I wonder where you can go and edit your profile now. So if you want to change your name or something. Guilty Gear World, adding new items to glossary and collation, updated text for Asuka, added images for some characters. It's not much. And other, if a special color that is not intended for use by a player is selected through unauthorized means, the default color will be used instead. Will instead be used. Change the display format of the match result screen. Fix some spelling and grammatical error in gallery mode. In the other section, if a color that is not intended to use by a player is selected through unauthorized means, the default color will instead be used. Change display format from match result screen. So I wonder what this looks like also in game because they changed the format. Fix some spelling and grammatical errors in gallery mode. So the battle changes. The battle version have been updated from version 2.6 to 3.0. The battle version can be checked in the replay function or replay theater. Fixed minor issues and made new battle changes. Details regarding these changes to be found. Character changes and fixed issues. So overall, changed to game mechanics with the addition of new mechanics utilizing the burst gauges have been made to the properties of Psych Burst and the burst gauge. The burst gauge fills faster than before, making it easier to use the new mechanics as well as the Psych Burst. So players can now express their individual style via the usage of the burst gauge, while an aggressive style with the new offensive mechanic, while to a safer style using the new defense mechanic, Deflect Shield. So right here, basically your burst gauge will fill faster. Instead of probably being able to use your burst gauge maybe once, maybe use it twice or maybe 3 times if you're lucky during a round. That's gonna be wildly different. I wonder. I haven't seen any videos on season 3, but I wonder if these new offensive mechanics like Wild Assault and Deflect Shield, if they'll use part of the burst gauge, and that's why they are upping the amount of recharge time on them. New mechanics. Added new mechanics. Wild Assault and Deflect Shield. Wild Assault. A lunging attack performed at the cost of 50% of the burst gauge, similar to special moves. It can also be performed by canceling normal moves on both hit and block. This attack drains the opponent's burst gauge slightly. Holding the D button will power up the attack in exchange for extending the attack slot up. So yeah, okay, so what I read up here, it does use, at least this one uses 50% of the burst gauge. So it uses half of the burst gauge. So that makes me think that this burst gauge will fill up faster if they wanted to use these new mechanics. The properties vary for each character, with them mainly falling into 1 of 3 categories. Attack with fast attack, startup, easy use combos, attack with guard cancel, effects on block, creates advantages situation. Attacks with invincibility frames for 1 and 2. The wild attack can be cancelled into other actions on hit or block. Attack with fast attacks. So with this first one, it basically speeds up the fast attacks, easy use, so you can use it in combos, which makes it easy use. So attack with a guard crush, effects on block, creates advantage situation. So basically, the person that uses this will be able to gain the turn back, possibly attack, and then they attack with invincibility flames. So that's the new offensive mechanic that's added in season 3. Now on to the defensive mechanic called Deflect Shield. A special method of blocking performed at the cost of, so both these, the Wild Assault and Deflect Shield, both use 50% of the burst gauge. Blocking an attack where Deflect Shield is active will create significant distance with the opponent. The same applies when blocking projectiles with it, in addition to standard straight attacks. It can both low and overhead attacks while active. While it is extremely powerful defense option, it leaves you in a vulnerable counter hit state for the second half of the move. As it costs burst gauge to activate Deflect Shield, you will be unable to use Psych Burst after and could take major damage from a push combo if the opponent sees it coming. So basically what this entire part right here says that is that if the opponent baits out your Psych Burst, or if they bait out your Deflect Shield, then your opponent will be able to punish you based off that, because I guess it's kind of like using a burst, and if your opponent baits it out, they'll get the advantage and get a free hit or combo in. So down to the burst gauge, there have been many changes made to mechanics surrounding the burst gauge. Increase rate, as I said earlier, burst gauge increases steady, then positive bonus. So basically, it's more, more burst gauge. Increases the same amount of time when stuck to the wall in the corner. What do they mean by that? Increases a set amount when stuck to the stage wall. So I guess when you splash against the wall, it increases the time. The burst gauge also increases when a wall break occurs without a wall stick. Okay. Overall, there's more opportunities now to gain burst gauge. These changes aim to create more chances to use the new mechanic as well as sight. Also, a thing that they didn't, they may say it later, but something they added to the burst gauge is that you'll be able to burst full screen now. So people who had trouble finding a Happy Chaos will now have an easier time, because you can. It's kind of like burst gauge's get off me mechanic. So when he uses his gun from all the way out there, you can usually get off. You can use the get off me and gain that space between you guys. Psych burst. The effects of gold and blue psych burst have been revised as well. Gold psych burst no longer increases the attention gauge on hit, instead activating positive bonus state. Blue psych burst. Expand the effects range to cover the entire screen. This is what I'm talking about here. Use the blue psych burst. That's the get me off tool for Happy Chaos. The gold psych burst have been adjusted to activate positive bonus now, as its previous 2 points of a comeback method on hit. While it no longer has an instantaneous effect, the steady increase to the burst gauge during the positive bonus state means that the player will no longer gain more burst gauge overall throughout the match. Okay. The effective range of blue psych bursts have been expanded to cover the entire screen to make a more powerful reset tool. It can now be used to hit the opponent even when they are at a distance. So basically, they want this to be kind of like a tool to set back to neutral, to get it in on Exozonas. I'm guessing it kind of falls into Testament also, but she isn't that. Her sin isn't as bad as what Happy Chaos does to you when he gets distance on you. Weight. In the Good to Good series, each character has had a set weight, with light characters being more susceptible to blowback and heavier characters also. This system meant that combo strings will need to be adjusted for the different characters of different weight classes, making for more information players will need to memorize. As of this update, all characters are now treated as the same weight. This means that light characters such as Mei and heavy characters such as Potikin will now both be subject to the same amount of blowback. So basically, just they're taking out this mechanic all in all. All the characters have the same amount of fall time blowback as in each one. Damage scaling and counter effect. It is now more challenging to get more major damage from moves that are powerful neutral tool, as well as low. Oh, I wonder if this. Oh man, I think that right there, that will severely nerf Happy Chaos. It is now more challenging to get major details, because I'm pretty sure his gun is what they wanted for it to be used is as a neutral tool, and with this right here, nerfing the neutral tools, yeah. Increased base damage scaling on moves with forward movement. Removed counter effect with special movements that follow into other special moves. Reduced damage of overdrives and command grabs. There are some exceptions to the general changes listed above. The damage potential from close range remains, with the damage and method approach reduced. And these are just the moves that it affects. And now we get into the actual character specific changes. So we'll read each one as we go. Okay, let's see, is that, yeah, okay. I won't go into all these changes with specific moves, but I'll go into the overall. So first off, Fafnir now travels much further, making it easier to approach from outside the range of far-standing S. due to being an exceptionally power, low-range offensive option. Bandit Revolver no longer triggers counter effect, making it more challenging to go for damage. Okay, so that's for Soul Bad Guy. Kai Kiosk. The decurse setup of fast standing S and standing HS makes more effective poking tool. So it makes it easier. So pretty much they buffed his neutral gain, or his neutral gain. Stun edge and charge stun edge now create less distance with the opponent on mid-air hit. This makes it easier to approach after a mid-air hit, and they can now be used in certain combos. The increased startup of Stun Dipper makes it more difficult to use as a fast punish option. The increased recovery also results in Kai being more easier punish even during shock state, but changes to launch on hit leaves in follow-up situation that are essentially the same as before. So makes they nerfed the Stun Dipper for the make it more easily punished. So with Mei, Mr. Dolphin horizontal functions differently than before. Using P during the move interrupts the attack and causes Mei to land. Pressing K during the move activates a new follow-up split, causing Mei to leap forward slightly. This allows Mei to better control the pace of the battle of combat in strings and during neutral. As a trade-off, the S version of Mr. Dolphin horizontal now creates less distance with the opponent on block, leaving Mei more prone to losing advantage. Oh, okay. So this right here will basically nerfed, I think, Togeki, where if she uses it, the opponent, you would be able to punish her more likely. Axel Low. Sickle Flash creates more distance with the opponent. The increased pushback makes it easier to connect the one touche both on hit and on block. The reduced recovery of Crouching B now makes it more viable and neutral. So he got a buff. Axel got a buff. Chip. The decreased setup of the area version of Alpha Blade Diagonal allows for a much faster offensive option. Jumping D now has a wall bounce effect on hit and could lead into an Azizim utilizing wall run. Lasso, Rakusu, and Sensu no longer trigger counter effect, making it more challenging to go for damaging after the frame trap. So he kind of got nerfed and buffed in different aspects. Potemkin, Mega Fist 4 now launches on hit against grounded opponents, creating more advantageous situations for Potemkin. Can't speak. Afterwards, while the added distance will make for more difficult Azizim after hitting grounded opponents, it helps Potemkin more easily drive opponents into the corner. However, opponents will now ground tech when landing, so force the downstate through such a Grotto impact is now necessary for going into Okizima. The increased startup of the inner part of FDP will now allow it to chain to other attacks such as plus K. Okay. So it sounded like he kind of got buffed a lot. Faust. Holding down P during what could this be results in Faust storing one random item. The stored item can be thrown with P down plus P. These challenges allow Faust to keep one known item in reserve and therefore create more effective strategy. Holding down K during thrust now causes the guard can't crash effect, allowing Faust to bait reversal options such as forward P. This allows make a viable option for starting an approach. The increased size of the inner hitbox of crouching X makes it easier to connect with bombs in certain situations, so making his neutral a lot better. They decrease the recovery for Miraz, makes it easier to more quickly cancel into special moves. This allows for more deceptive offensive options to help confuse opponents. Decreased startup for Lust Shaker now makes it possible for combos from standing HS into Lust Shaker. Mir Mazar, the string is safer even on block, unless the opponent uses an invincible reversal, making it a low risk option for resetting to neutral. So it's related to Melee Rage. Zato. Zato and Eddie can now switch positions when down is input while activating summon Eddie or break the law. This is opponent option when Eddie is behind the opponent or when Zato and Eddie are far apart. In exchange, Zato solo moves have generally been downgraded. The cooldown time until Eddie can now be summoned again after the Eddie life gauge reaches 0. It has been extended, requiring extra caution when managing the meter. Memberthal Valentine. Memberthal has a new special moves, Ondo. So this is one of the 6 characters that got new special moves, which performs an attack at a far off position. The addition of Ondo gives her more options after the opponent block far standing S or standing HS. Combined with the changes to Sildo, Destra, she can now make it harder for the opponent to move freely even outside of the corner. In exchange for her improved mid-range game, the reduction to her dash movement speed makes it more challenging for her to get into close range. Uralumo no longer trigger a counter effect, making it more challenging to go for damage after a frame trap. So basically they basically improved her neutral game, which is good because she needed instead of a rush down. They also nerfed her Uralumo, which no longer counters after a counter attack. It can harder to get damage after a frame trap. Leo White Fang. Standing HS can now combo into Turbulence. Turbulence covers more distance than before, improving the situation with rail after it connects. The invisible frames for the HR version of Ashim has been delayed, making it less effective as a reversal. Wake up. Nagaruki. Changes to Kamayuki and Shizuyuki improve his mix-up capability. Landing Blood-Sucking Universal creates a key chance to go for mix-up, as Nagaruki will have spare blood gauge to work with. Forward HS can no longer be cancelled into special move, meaning he cannot simultaneously land a higher damaging off the ground attack and go for Okizumi with Fukio, as it creates a significant damage with the opponent when blocked. It now serves as a relatively safe way to open up space. Giovanna. Giovanna has a new special move, so she also gets a new special move. It allows her to form powered-up versions of other special moves by using them during the move. It greatly changes her neutral game and combos. The opponent will now attack upon landing after getting hit by Zeptrol, making it more challenging to go for both an off-the-ground hit and Akizima. It takes more work for her to achieve knockdown than before. So, out of all these characters so far, there's supposed to be 6, and there's only 2 so far that we've read about. Angie has a new follow-up move, a Belvor after withstanding an attack, which Sugetsu no Hakabi. This makes him better able to challenge the opponent's jab and projectiles, as he can still get better damage in response to heavy attacks from the opponent by countering the HS standing. Rather than using the follow-up, it's crucial to choose the right option for the current situation. The position Anji leaps to during Shin Izuzuki can now be changed by inputting left or right. You will attack while moving back when back is input, or forward with forward is input. Ino has a new special move, so this is the 3rd one, so halfway there. Ino has a new special move, Mad Love Agitoto, I don't know how to say that, which performs an attack while leaping forward. On both hit and block, she can move midair after the attack to maintain her offense. In exchange for her new tool to approach with a mid-range, the K and S versions of Sultra Performance now leave Ino in a war situation on block, so she got nerfed right there. Chemical Love also leaves wars off one block, making it easier for an opponent to get in. So other than her special move, she got nerfed in every other way. Go Lewid Stixon. The startup for the area version of Behemoth Typhoon have been reduced, making it easier to combo into after jumping attacks. Some area versions of Behemoth Typhoon have fewer attack frames for first part of the attack, meaning it is easier to connect with the end of the attack being when used after an air dash. As Fast Landing X was an excellent poke with both fast startup and short recovery, it has been adjusted to serve a different purpose than catching S. So he just kind of got changed, and didn't get nerfed or buffed. Defend command now launches the opponent after withstanding an attack. It is now possible for Jacko to follow up and with an attack of her own to set up an advantage situation after withstanding an attack. The active time of HS version of Cheers 7 on has been reduced, limiting the duration of her powerful offense in the corner. It now fully replenishes the servant gauge upon activation upon opening up new possibilities. So she got buffed. Happy Chaos. Fort K now creates less distance with the opponent, making it easier to connect with the at the ready. Steady aim has been given additional simplified input, making it less challenging to cancel into other special moves directly after fire. Using roll to move forward, and opponent reduces the forward momentum, allowing Chaos to stay close and maintain pressure more easily. So basically wanting him to be more of a closer than a long range zoner. Co-standing S is easier to connect after roll, but the opponent can attempt to punish with a ground throw. So they nerfed his grounding S. The scaling for fire has undergone adjustment, greatly reducing the damage dealt. So they nerfed his fire in combos after. He now needs to perform combos using more normal moves and to deal more major damage. So they basically nerfed Happy Chaos, which is good, because I am sick of seeing Happy Chaos in tournaments, and that's just kind of selfish, but that's just what it is. As for my main, Baiken, Kenji Yu now hits twice, once with the projectile and once with the explosion. It is point tool for doing extra damage as since the applying. Oh, so it has now knockback towards Baiken. That's good. The S version, the Kabari, now has faster startup, creating more opportunities to force the opponent to block it. Hirugai deals less damage as it previously dealt excessive damage with 4 reversal moves. So her parry got nerfed. Yorzingzin now causes more blowback on hit, making it harder to follow up even when it hits after a jumping attack such as jumping S. So they nerfed her that move. Testament. Arbiter Sign now launches the opponent greatly on hit. This vastly improves the situation on hit, making it easier for Testament to set up an advantage situation after. Newly found Tumble effect to standing HS makes it possible to follow up with attacks such as S version. Arbiter Sign, when appearing mid-air causing possession, it is now possible to move by inputting back or forward. Testament will appear while moving with the back is input and forward when the forward is input. This makes the move more viable tool with mix-ups or baiting the opponent entire but throwing off the timing. Vegeta forward HS now launches put high on hits, so makes more combo able. A combo with Roger Drive and rolling movement on hit, making it possible to go for extra damage. Shoot, which made it possible to form hard to block strings while using the yo-yo. Now has upward movement during the attack startup. That makes it more challenging to perform with previous strings. Sin Kiosk. The challenges to Fast Landing S and Elk Hunt improve his neutral game. Sin is in a better situation after standing HS is blocked, and it's harder for an opponent to interrupt with a jab when using Hoof Stomp afterwards. The blowback after the Hawkbot Baker, the follow-up has been adjusted, making it possible to get more damage combos off the jabs, such as Crouching K, at the expense of stamina. Bedman. So Bedman, the Area 6E state now persists after an area shift, making it easier for Bedman to stay on the offensive. It is more difficult for an opponent to interrupt a string using anything other than an invisible reversal after Bedman. Cancels the last hit on Crouching HS to a special move. Crouching P can now combo into Call 4B3, making it easier to enter Area 6E state for jab, which is good because I feel like Bedman is one of those characters, along with Sin Kiosk, that need a buff majorly, which it seems like kind of Sin got, but his tools got kind of nerfed a lot when he came in with a Strive from Rev. And last but not least, Asuka, who's been at the least. As little time has passed since Asuka's release compared to other characters, he has received fewer changes. The opponent no longer attacks upon landing after getting hit by Aquila Metron, making the situation more advantageous for Suka after it hits. It now works well as a finish for combos in addition to its functions as a reversal. And then that's the end of the patch notes. So if you, like me, who's excited for Season 3, as you should be, there's a lot of new changes coming to be excited about. Johnny is coming into the game. Wherever Johnny is. If you're excited for Johnny, or just the ballot patches, or just the quality of life as the menu is for the game, I'm hopefully I'm gonna plan on making a lot of Johnny videos. I should have one up on Friday, and I'm gonna have one all up next week of just Johnny gameplay. So anyway, that's gonna be the end of this video. I just wanted to kind of hop on here and talk about. I'll read through the patch notes and just kind of talk about it. If you liked what you see, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.